I don't think there's a huge difference between what Garoppolo was giving you and what Purdy potentially can give you.
I feel like the poise in the pocket we're talking about and the timing that he plays with, it is a bit of an inherent trait, but I think it's also a function of experience. What we see is a guy who started 4 years in college, and it shows in a good way. I also like the way he can avoid sacks. I think he's actually more elusive significantly than Jimmy Garoppolo. And there were plays that Purdy got away where Jimmy wouldn't have. I also like how he throws the ball on the run. When he's rolling to his right, he can hit guys along the sideline. I think that's pretty nice. And my favorite thing about Brock Purdy, this is a guy I didn't like in training camp, but now that I've seen him, I like the way he plays in the red zone. I think he's aggressive. I think that their red zone efficiency just might go up with him. I'm not saying the offense will be better with him. I have reservations as well. We'll talk about that. But once they get down there, I really like the way he plays.
The number one thing you need in the red zone as a passer is accuracy, because the windows are so small.
Yes.
And that was the one thing I tweeted about it the other day, or, in camp. I retweeted it yesterday, that he's the most accurate. I watched Trey, I watched Jimmy. I've seen the other guys they've brought in. This guy is the most accurate quarterback they've had in a long time. I mean, this guy really throws strikes, and he does it repeatedly. I mean, you watch it for a day, you're like, he doesn't wow you, right? Because he's not overly big or physical. Right. He doesn't have
a little small. He doesn't have a strong arm.
Side, little.
There's a total reason he was the last pick in the draft. I mean, it's not like, how did this? It's like, yeah, I can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you start to see the projection of where he is and where he's going. What he has, they can't teach. He's accurate. He's poised. He's smart. He knows the offense. You mentioned it. He's made 47 career starts.
It's hard to get that experience in football.
Yeah.
It's hard. Look at Trey.
And not only that, he's it's one thing to quarterback SC like Matt Leinart when they were loaded. It's another thing to quarterback Iowa State in the Big 12.
Right.
When you're only favored to win maybe 3 or 4 games on your schedule. This guy completed 73% of his passes. He was like third in the nation his senior year. He throws strikes. And when you're in the red zone, what you're going to see more from the Niners, they're going to throw more balls into the end zone for touchdowns, as opposed to throwing it.
Whenever Jimmy would get there, it was like,
it.
We're throwing to the flat. It's like, what was that? Was that just not trusting Jimmy's accuracy?
Yeah, I don't. Seriously,
that always would kill me the last 5 years. Throw the ball into the end zone.
Yeah,
I think Purdy did.
Some guys are better anticipatory throwers than others. This guy, I think, is like that. I thought there were a couple plays he made. The one where he beat the blitz and he found Kittle in the middle of the field and he took a big hit. I mean, it really showed the total traits. He audibled to the play. He showed the footwork. He got the quick release. He put it on Kittle's hands. He took the hit and he got up for the next snap. I mean, that's how it's coached up. There's not a lot of guys who can do it better than that. So he lacks some stature, and his biggest weakness is that this guy is so tough that he'll welcome hits that will knock him out in the NFL level. So that would be my only concern, is durability, because he'll stand in there and take that hit. He's courageous, but it's NFL defensive players and they win typically.
Okay, yeah, I have some reservations beyond just a couple of things. I mean, so he's aggressive. I like the way he throws, but the way they're talking about him as a passer reminds me of Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins was more aggressive than Jimmy Garoppolo, would push the ball down the field more than Jimmy Garoppolo, would have games where he's looking really nice, accurate, and aggressive. And then he would start throwing picks. And at a certain point, he would look like, man, this guy's a backup quarterback. He needs to stop doing this and just manage the game. And I feel like I've seen this a lot of times. I haven't seen that much of Purdy, so I don't know what to expect. But with backup quarterbacks on the 49ers or around the league, look at Bailey Zappi or whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah.
Guy comes in, maybe in relief, looks great. No tape on him. No game plan for him. Looks really nice. Maybe keeps it going for 2-3 weeks. Eventually, there's more tape. There's a game plan. There's a sense of his strengths and weaknesses, and it falls apart. And then he's on the bench, and you don't see him for a while. So I guess just the big picture knowledge of what backup quarterbacks tend to do. That's how it usually goes. If he's more than a backup quarterback, he'll show it. But if he's a backup quarterback, how much can you really expect from him? He hasn't had any first-team reps all year. Now they're trying to, get him started. At least he's got experience to fall back on.
I mean, they're definitely. I mean, it's the NFL. It's pro sports. They're going to try to
Right.
turn off your water. They're going to try to take away your first read. They're going to try to make him throw it outside the numbers. But this player with this group of weapons, if he just plays within himself and takes whatever the
Agree.
defense gives him, and I
Agree.
think he's disciplined and smart enough and competitive enough to do exactly that. If he
Okay.
just takes what the defense gives him,
Yeah.
gets the ball out on time, keeps playing with the same poise, nothing, he doesn't need to do anything different than what he's doing right now. I think he's going to be generally pretty effective. I'm not saying he's Mahomes, but he's got some traits that Mahomes has. For example, Mahomes is not a burner, but Mahomes has incredible 5 or 7 step quickness to get away from the rush. This guy is not a burner, but he does have some like another level speed wise he can get to escape the rush. So I like that about him. And then what I also like is I saw Mullins as a guy who oftentimes wouldn't stay with his mechanics as far as stepping into throws, and that then his arm was just totally weak. This guy is more disciplined and seems like he understands the need to step into his throws, and his footwork is really really good. I think much better than Mullins. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but I don't think Mullins is a good comparison.